So we're back at it, another week, another chapter. However, before we go over this week's chapter, I think first we should do a little recap of what happened last week. So last week what ended up happening was I finally finished my senior year of high school. You know, I had my close cousin from Texas fly out, James, and he was there for graduation. That night after graduation, my best friend Bob kind of went to a party, got a little fucked up. He wanted to crash at my place. I said it was cool. He ended up coming through with like some random ass people. They ended up throwing up all over my shit. Had to clean it up and kick them out in the morning. Luckily, my parents never found out or anything like that, so it went all good. And you know, after that, I pretty much spent the rest of the summer just kind of like spending time with like friends, spending time with Lacey, like trying to like have fun that summer before college life started. And that's gonna be where we pick up now. Alright, so that summer I actually turned 18, and so like I was saying before, I never got my license because I never did driver's ed. I just wanted to turn 18 and then get my license. So since I turned 18 that summer, I went ahead and got my license. The first time I did the test, I think, actually now that I think about it, I think I failed the first time I took the test, and then I had to go back on the second one I got it. I can't actually remember, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I'm pretty sure I failed the first time, and then I went back and got it. And then so I got my license that summer. And I mean, it was pretty cool. Like, I had my license, I got a car, I was whipping around as much as possible because I was like, yes, I can finally drive now, you know. So I mean, that summer I was just driving around everywhere and shit. And I mean, it was pretty cool, especially because like 18 is my favorite number. So it was nice to like turn 18, and then also like me and Lacey were dating at the time, so I was like, dang, like everything was going good. I had my license, like I don't know, it just, my 18th birthday was like super dope. And I remember like Lacey actually like made me like this big huge ass like custom like birthday card like out of some fucking big ass poster board. Like she like made the whole thing. I mean, it was super tight. It was super tight. And so finally the summer's wrapping up, right? And I'm starting college, right? So we pick our classes, and me and Lacey were pretty much scheduled to be in school like around the same times, and we did that on purpose because when she goes to class, like she pretty much drives past my house on the way to school, so that way we could like carpool on, we can carpool. So some days like she'll drive the whole way and I'll just ride with her. Other days like she'll just drive to my house, and then from there like I'll drive us to school and then drive back, and then when she goes home like she'll just drive from my house back to her place, so that way she like we're either neither one of us is driving as much. And then like our classes were at the same time, so we'd always hang out when we were in school and shit like that. And so I remember like the first year was actually pretty chill. Like my class, I did pretty alright in most of my classes. I did like fuck up on some classes. Like I took anthropology thinking that would be like fun, and that class was super shitty. Like that, I hated that class so much. I ended up getting a D in that class. That class was it was brutal. Like there was no part of that class that I enjoyed. It was that class was a mistake. That class was a mistake. But I mean, my other classes I did pretty good that semester, so I was actually feeling pretty good about it because, like I said, I was always been pretty shitty in school. So the fact that I was gonna be able, like the fact that I was like doing pretty decent going into college, like it was pretty cool. And actually, something I really remember that semester was, okay, so this was like the end of the year, right? So it's second semester, we're about to finish up, like finals are coming up in a few weeks, and I'm taking like an English class. And so my English class, I actually really liked that class. I enjoyed it a lot. Like, I mean, I tend to like English because I like writing papers and shit like that. Like, it's pretty fun. So my English class was really fun. I really liked that class. And one of the people that was in my class, she actually went to high school with me. And I mean, it was pretty cool. Like, we were pretty chill in high school, and then we were in the class together right there, and then we're talking, and I remember she was talking to me about how like she was dating some dude that she met like on fucking Tumblr or something like that, and they were like super in love, and like they were like all about each other, and they were gonna get married and everything like that, and they had never seen each other in person or anything like that. And in fact, like after the semester was over, she was gonna be flying out to like, I think it was like Oregon or Washington or some shit like that, right? And she was gonna go like move out there to move in with him, and they were like, that was gonna be the first time that they met, and they were already like planning like their wedding because I guess he had proposed to her like through like fucking Skype or some shit. I don't even know. Like, it was like the craziest story ever. And then she was talking about how like they were so happy and everything like that. I mean, in my head I was like like this shit weird as fuck. Like this is the weirdest story I've ever heard, but it's whatever. Like that's her life, right? And then she was talking to me about it, and she was asking me like about like my relationship because she knew that I was dating somebody. And then she was asking, and then I remember she brought up like, she asked me how long it took me to tell Lacey that I loved her, and I looked at her and I was like, I mean, I haven't said it. Like, and it's funny because at this time, like, we had already been dating for a year. Like I said, this was second semester, so it's going into like May, June area, and we started dating like the previous January. So I'd already been dating Lacey for a year, and I mean, I still hadn't said like I love you or anything like that. And then she was looking at me like I was fucking crazy, and I was looking at her like she was fucking crazy because she said that she like told the dude she loved him after like, I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks they were dating and shit like that. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, we're like totally opposite spectrums in this shit, right? So she tells me that, and then she says like, well, do you like her? And I was telling her like, well, I mean, duh, I fucking like her. Like, we've been dating for over a year now. Like, what the fuck? Obviously, like, just because I didn't say I loved you yet doesn't necessarily mean that like I don't have feelings for this person. It's not like love can be the only feeling in a relationship, you know? And then she was saying, like, I think you're just being scared, blah, 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 blah. Like, just do it, just do it, just do it, just say it. And I was trying to explain to her, like, I'm not, like, the reason I didn't say it is not because that, like, I don't have feelings for this person. Like, obviously I do have feelings for Lacey. The thing is, like, I didn't, like, I wanted the first time I say it to be something, like, meaningful. I didn't want to say it just because, like, I felt like I should. I didn't want to say it just because, like, I felt like that's what she wanted to hear, or, like, people, like, thought I should do it or anything like that. Like, I wanted it to be like something where I knew, like, without a doubt, because like I had said that before in relationships, but I mean so like the first time I ever said it to somebody, I was like in 7th grade, and my girlfriend, she was like on the phone with me, and she was annoying the shit out of me because I was with my friends, and I was like trying to hang up, and she kept complaining like, don't hang up, you have to say you love me before you hang up, blah 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 blah. And then I was like, fine, I love you. And she was like, oh, I love you too. And then we hung up. But like, I didn't mean it. Like, I just said it to shut her up because I was with my friends. I mean, needless to say, like 2 days later I broke up with her because I thought she was like super clingy and shit. But anyways, that's besides the point. Like, so, I mean, like I said, I had said it before. It's like other girlfriends that I dated in the past and shit like that. But it was never, I never said it because like I actually felt like it. I just said it because I felt like I was supposed to, or I felt like they were like looking for me to say it. And I didn't, like I said, like I didn't want my relationship with Lacey to be like anything I've ever experienced before. Like, I wanted every part of our relationship to be like something different, like something better, something bigger in every sense of the word. So I didn't want to like kind of like fuck with it by just like doing, like saying that. Like, I kind of feel like that's like something strong, like that's like a powerful statement to make in a relationship. Like, once you say that shit, like, you're kind of setting yourself up for like bigger moments in the relationship. So like, I was taking it seriously. I didn't want to like jeopardize anything that we could like, that we were developing, just because like I rushed into saying that shit. Like I said, I wanted to make sure that when I did say it, it was under circumstances where like I knew without a doubt that like that truly is how I felt, you know? So I tried to explain that to her, and she didn't understand what the fuck I was talking about. She thought I was stupid, blah, blah, blah. Like, she thinks, oh, you're thinking too much into it. They're just 3 words. Just say it, yada, 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 whatever. So, fuck that shit. I wouldn't listen to her. Anyways, the semester was over. She ended up flying back. She ended up flying to go visit, like, her boyfriend or whatever like that. And, I mean, that was that. And, I mean, I haven't heard from her since. So, I'm assuming they lived happily ever after. Anyways, so, that summer, you know, it's like finally that first school year is over, so college is done with, right? And it's just the summer. Again, I'm getting ready for the next semester, next year coming up. I'm still working towards my associates and everything like that. Things are still going pretty good in school. Like, I'm still kind of on track, even though I did like fuck up some classes. Like, I should still be able to finish everything in like the next year. So then I'll be getting my associates in those 2 years right there. And like, me and Lacey are hanging out one day, and I remember. My family, we're at my house, and like my family was like hungry and shit. It was like in the afternoon, like it was like a hot ass day that day too. I remember that, but it was like afternoon, and my family, like they wanted some McDonald's, because like they didn't really want to cook or anything like that. And everyone was hungry. They just wanted some burgers, and there's like a McDonald's that's kind of like, it's kind of by my house, probably like 15, like, I mean, no, sorry, not 15, 5-minute drive from my house. So probably like 10 minutes like there and back and shit, right? And everyone's looking at me like, you know what, like you're like, you're driving now, you have your license and shit, like, you go get it. And I mean, at the time, I was like, and driving was still new to me. Like, I'd only been driving for like a year or some shit. So I was like, yeah, I'll go, I don't care. So Lacey was over, and then like we both went to go get some fucking McDonald's for everybody, right? So we go, and we're driving out there, and I mean, we're just talking, we're just like, it's a normal conversation, we're listening to music in the car and shit like that, and then we pull up to McDonald's, and we make our order and everything like that, and we're coming back, and I don't exactly know how the conversation got brought up. However, I do know myself, and I do know the types of things that I tend to say, the types of jokes I tend to make. So with that being said, I'm fairly positive I'm the one who brought this up, but somehow the topic of if she had sex with other people while we were broken up, that got brought up. And I mean, based off of that topic, I already know I'm the one who brought it up. Like, I can't imagine she like was the one who initiated this. And I remember we were laughing, okay? So I remember we were laughing about it. So I'm guessing it was a joke. I'm guessing I made a joke and I brought it up like that. And I mean, like I said, it was a joke. And when she answered the question, she said yes. And I remember thinking, like, the way she said it kind of took me by surprise, because I remember wondering, like, if she was joking or if she was being serious. And I mean, I was driving at the time. Like, I was still driving when we were talking about this, right? And like, I couldn't stand like not knowing for certain, okay? So I brought it up again. Like, I said it again. I said, wait, you really had sex with someone else like when we were broken up? And she was laughing and she was like, yeah. And see, by this time I realized that she was being serious. So the first two times I brought it up, I was laughing about it. But by the third time I asked, like, you could visibly tell that I was upset. And I asked her again. So this is the third time I asked her, and I wasn't laughing about it anymore. Like, I was serious as fuck. Like, I looked at her and like, I asked, like, are you serious? Like, did you really have sex with someone else while we were broke, like when we weren't talking? And you know, thinking about it now, like, I know it sounds stupid because of the fact that, like, we stopped talking because of me. Like, I'm the one who told her, like I don't want to do that. Like, this isn't what I want. Like, this isn't healthy for either one of us. Like, I just want to like cut this out. Like, we can both like go our separate ways and shit. Like, I'm the one who brought all this up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm the one who like cut off communications between us. And from where she's standing at the time, like, it's not like we were ever gonna talk again. You know, like, she never thought that was gonna be a thing. So I understand how stupid it is for me to be upset about it when she said it. However, understanding it is a lot different than not having any emotion towards it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can understand that she's not in the wrong, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not going to feel any type of way about it regardless. And so she answered it, and she told me, like, yes, I did. It was like one time with someone, and I remember I fucking hit the brakes, and like, luckily there was nobody behind me, because we were almost back to the house by the time like this happened. And I fucking hit the brakes hard as shit, and we just stopped like right there in the middle of traffic. And I was like, I didn't even know what to say. Like, I honestly didn't even know what to say. I didn't know how to respond. I didn't know how to react. I was just like, I just stopped the car and just was thinking, like, what the fuck, you know? Like there was nothing else going on in my head. It was just like the idea of like, what the fuck. And she tried talking to me, but I don't even remember what she said. I don't even remember if I could hear her talking, you know? I was just so lost in my own thoughts. And finally I hear like horns like honking behind me and shit. I mean, there's like cars behind me. So I like snap out of it and I start driving forward. And she's like trying to talk to me still. She's trying to talk to me. She's trying to talk to me, and I'm just like ignoring her. And we get back to my house. And I mean, by this time I'm pissed off. Like, I'm legitimately pissed off, and I don't even really get mad like that. Like, I really don't get upset about anything. So the fact that like I'm pissed off, obviously she's trying to talk to me. Like, she's actually trying to like get me to listen, because like I said, like this isn't a normal type of reaction from me. And we get in the house, okay? I bring the food up to like my whole family is like upstairs, like in the upstairs living room, like at the table. Like, I guess they saw me like pull up in the driveway, so they already know like the food's here, right? So I go up there and I throw the bag of like McDonald's. Like, I just like toss that shit on the table, and then Lacey's behind me like trying to talk to me, and she's like following me, and I ignore her, throw the food on the table, I turn around, walk out, and I fucking slam the front door like as I exit the house. And see, the thing is, like, I'm not the type of person who, like, I like to, when, like, couples are getting in an argument and shit, I'm the type of person who's, like, take that shit somewhere else. Like, if you're in public or, like, you're around company, like, you're a guest, some shit like that, like, I'm the guy who's, like, bruh, like, you're making it awkward for everybody. Like, get your shit into another room. Like, handle your shit yourself. Like, well, don't involve everybody else in it, because you're just, like, making it a bad time for everybody there. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's always been my mentality about it. And it's cool because Lacey feels the same way. Like, she doesn't like when people, like air out their shit in front of everybody, or, like, air out their discussions or problems or anything like that. Like, whether it's couples, whether it's like friends, anything like that, like if you have some shit you gotta settle, like do that shit on your own time. So like we both thought the same way about it, but in this instance, like there was no way that I was not gonna like, there was no way I was gonna be able to hold that shit in. Like I was so upset, and that was like I think that might actually be the only time that like I'd ever found a way to involve everybody else, because obviously he don't just go slamming doors shut for no reason, you know. Obviously I don't walk around blatantly ignoring Lacey while she's talking to me, like while families are, you know what I'm saying? Like clearly something was going on, and everybody was now involved with it. And I mean, honestly, I can only imagine like what she felt like when she was standing next to like my whole family right there, like trying to talk to me and trying to like get me to listen to her, and then me just like walking past her and then slamming the door as I exit. Like, I mean, I'm sure she must have felt super shitty about like how everything was going down. And I mean, I was being very like dismissive about it too, so I wasn't even listening to anything. And then I go outside because I just wanted to calm down. I just felt like I needed to get away from everything. I needed to be alone. Like I just needed to like figure this shit out for myself, because like I couldn't even understand why I was so upset. Like, it's just, like I said, this was not a normal reaction from me. So I didn't even know, like, what to think. And I didn't know, like, how to handle it, really. So I go outside, and in my backyard, we have, like a patio type shit. So I go over there to, like, I'm just, like, pacing, like, walking around, pacing back and forth, like, trying to, like, understand, like, why I feel so upset about it, you know? Trying to understand, like, why I'm in this type of mood. And naturally, like, Lacey, she follows. She goes outside, and she's, like, still trying to talk to me. She's still trying to talk to me. She goes to, like, the patio, and she's, like, trying to get me to understand. She starts talking about how, like, you know, like, I didn't know we were going to talk again. Like, I didn't know we would, like, be back in each other's lives. Like, it was dumb. It happened once, and, like, all this other stuff. She was, like, trying to explain it. And the thing is, like, it's so shitty because, like I said, like, I'm the one who asked for it, you know? Like, I'm the one who like, made it even possible for that to be a thing. Like, I'm the one who, like, brought all that on upon myself. So, to have her, like, trying to apologize to me about something that, like, she didn't do anything wrong, like, the whole situation just sounds so stupid now, you know? But at the time, like, I couldn't get past, like, my own emotions to see, like, logically, I really had no room to, like, complain about shit, you know? And while she's talking, trying to like talk to me and everything like that, she's like trying like grabbing me and like trying to get me to like look at her, because like I was just like looking away. I was like trying to like push her away from me. I mean, not like really like literally push her away, but like just trying to get her out of like my line of sight kind of thing. Like trying to like get her out of my line of sight, just so I can like push her out of my mind and like trying to figure out like why I'm going through like what I'm going through, you know? And finally, like, I start telling her, like, I, like, look at her and I, like, just, like, I just snap. I just, like, start yelling about how, like, you know, when we were broken up, like, I couldn't even bring myself to, like, to hook up with anybody else. Like, opportunities had come up for me to be able to do that with other people. Like, things like that did happen. Like, I did, like I said, like, I did go to a lot of parties when we weren't talking, and, like, I mean, when you're there, like, people are drinking, like, people, I mean, I don't know, it's just a lot of opportunities came up to where I could have hooked up with, like, other girls and shit like that, and I remember I tried to a couple times, like, I really, like, I wanted to do it, you know, but whenever it came that time to, like, where it was actually gonna happen, I just always fucking changed my mind, like, it's just something about it, like, it never felt right, like, every time it was gonna happen, like, it never felt right, because at the end of the day, like, it wasn't her, like, it wasn't Lacey, it was just someone else who I didn't care about, someone else I had no interest in talking to or being involved with, like, it wasn't the same feeling for me, and I think that's what, like, fucked with me the most, to know that, like, for me, I wasn't even able to, like, put myself in a position to where I thought it would be okay, or where I thought I could do it and be fine with it. And here I find out that, like, she actually was, I mean, granted it did happen, like I said, she said it did happen one time and anything like that, and I'm sure it wasn't, like, anything, like, super crazy or anything like that, but I don't know, it's just, like, the idea that she was able to, like, put herself in a situation to where, like, she didn't feel uncomfortable doing that, or, like, she didn't, like, second guess it, or she didn't, like, she was actually able to go through with it, you know, I think that's what really, like, got to me, and that's what really fucked with me. And again, I understand that, like, logically speaking, we're coming from different scenarios, you know, like, she's, like, when she did what she did, like, she's like, coming out of it out, like, based off the fact that, like, we're never going to talk again, so she needs to move on, kind of thing. And when I'm coming out of it, I'm under the assumption that, like, that's what I wanted, but that's not how I'm feeling, so I'm starting to second guess, like, everything I'm doing, you know, like, we're at different ends of the spectrum on where we were when we exited, like, when we cut off communication, so it makes sense to why, like, we experience different things during that time. And I'm just going off, like, yelling, like, saying, like, I couldn't even do it, like, how could you do that, like I don't know, I think I just wanted her to feel upset, so I didn't want to feel like I was the only one who was hurt by it, you know, like, I wanted to have, like, some kind of comfort in knowing that she was also upset about it, because I was hoping that maybe that would make me feel better, maybe that would, like, make me understand it better, I don't know. And I remember she got really choked up, and then she started crying, and, like, when she started crying, I remember looking at her, and I was like physically hurt, and it wasn't like, I don't know, it wasn't like it was, like, something, like, in your head, or, like, something where, like, it's an emotion, like, it felt like it was stronger than any emotion I had felt, like, it was, like, physical, like, it was almost as if, like, seeing her being that upset was so real and so intense for me that, like, the only way my body could comprehend, like, how to react to it was if, like, my body felt in pain, you know, to, like, that way my brain can, like, justify and, like, understand, like, why I'm feeling like this. And it was in that moment that I realized, like, I'd never felt like that about anything. Like, I mean, I'd made girls cry before in my life. Like, I've broken hearts. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say, like, I've never been, like, a dick to anybody or been a jerk to anybody. Like, I've done that to, like, a lot of girls in the past, a lot of people in the past. Like, I've done hurtful things to, like, other girls, so I make them, like, feel shitty or anything like that, you know? And it never affected me. Like, yeah, I felt bad for them, because I was like, damn, like, I'm sorry I did that, but, like, at the end of the day, like, the fuck do I care, you know? Like, I'd been like that with a lot of people, but it was just something so different about it. Like, it was something so different about seeing, like, Lacey being that upset, and, like, seeing, like, Lacey going through it, and, like, seeing that, like, the things that I was saying was, like, hurting her, you know, like, emotionally and everything like that. And it was just, like I said, like, I'd never felt like that about anybody. And that, like, it was right then and there, I realized, like, I am so in love with this person, you know, like, I am, like, like crazy in love with this person to the point because, like I said, like I physically hurt. Like my body is physically in pain. Like watching her cry. Like that's something that doesn't real like that's like that shit does not happen. You know, like that's not a normal fucking thing. And I look at her, and she's like, her head is down and she's crying, like tears are falling out of her face and everything like that, you know. And I grab her by the head and like I like wipe her tears away like with my thumb and shit, and like I look right into her eyes and I tell her like, you know, I love you. And like saying it, like I felt so fucking relieved. Like I said it and I just felt so much better. Like I just felt like none of that shit would mattered, you know. Like that shit was so petty. Like it was so irrelevant because it happened. I mean, it happened over a year ago. Like what the fuck am I sitting here like being upset about it now? You know what I'm saying? Like seeing where we've come from, like seeing where we've grown together, like in this past time, like how could I possibly be upset about some shit that happened like when I wasn't even in the picture? Like it sounded like it's just like it finally set in. Like that was shit was stupid as fuck. Like get over it. And you know, she looked at me and she had said it to me before. Like she had told me she loved me before I said it. And she said it like blatantly, but also like I said, like she always said that the person she wanted to lose her virginity to was always gonna be somebody that she like was in love with. And the fact that like that I was the one who did like me and like I was the one who was her first and everything like that, like I already knew that's how she felt about me. And on top of that, she had said it like once before. And she didn't say it like trying to get me to say it back. She was just saying it like so I understood, you know, like where she was at. And now that finally, like, I mean, it's like over a year, like almost like a year and a half and some shit. Like I've heard like waiting for me to like finally be there. Like I was there, you know. And when I told her, like she didn't even have to say anything. Like I already knew. Like it was just the way that she looked at me when I said it. Like it was like that's all that needed to be said in that moment, you know. Like I didn't need to hear her say it back. I didn't need any of that. I didn't need to know like for sure. I didn't need like any type of insurance that like the feelings were mutual. Like just the way that she looked at me when I said it, like that said everything to me. And then she started crying even more, and initially I was a little confused. I was like, what the fuck, like stop crying. Like I'm trying to like say like I'm sorry, you know, like I didn't mean to like hurt your feelings and shit like that. And then she started laughing and she started smiling and she was crying, and then like I realized like she's not crying because she's upset, you know, like now she's crying because she's happy. And I mean she just like hugged me, and then like I mean she's shorter than me, and it's cool. I like it when we hug because like her head like lands like right here on my chest and shit. And then I don't know, I just always felt like we fucking our bodies like meshed well together. Like I don't know, I just think like I've always thought that like the way like she was, her height compared to me, it was like super badass. So when we hugged, like it felt like super cool. Like I was like holding her and like protecting her type of shit. Like I don't know, I always in my head I always just felt like it looked like a cool image, whatever. And then we hugged and she was like crying on my chest and shit. And I mean it was like it was great. And then I remember thinking like, damn, when people find like if people ever hear the story of like the first time like I said like I love her to her or whatever like that, like it's gonna be under such shitty circumstances, you know. Like so yeah, I always thought that like people are gonna like hear the story and be like, damn, you were such a dick, or like wow, you were so stupid, or like yo, I don't know, it's just gonna be like such a shitty like way on like the first time that like we like it was said mutually type of shit, you know. But like thinking about it, it just like it makes so much sense for it to be like in that way, because for like I said, for so long I wanted the first time I said it to be under a circumstance in which like I knew there was no other possible feeling that could explain like what I was like, there was no other possible emotion that could explain what I was feeling, you know. Like I wanted it to be like so sure and so positive. I didn't want to say it like, but I was confused on when I said it, you know. Like, I wanted to say it knowing this is exactly how I feel. And even though like what led up to me feeling that was stupid, I think like I still got to experience exactly what I wanted, you know. Like it was still under the exact same way that like I pictured for it. Like everything like I had thought that like, oh, this is how it's gonna be, this is how I want it to be, this is how I want it to happen, like all of that shit actually fucking happened, you know? And it just, I don't know, it's just like, that like added to the relationship that much more, because like everything that like I had been trying to do and everything I like wanted to accomplish, like between me and Lacey in a relationship with us, like it was just all going exactly how I wanted it to be, you know? And it was just like, I think like that, like that, I think that shines more than like the shitty circumstances that like it happened, you know?